A very warm welcome to IDFC FIRST Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritvika Gupta and you're watching our very special award series all through this week. Tonight we are putting the spotlight on innovation, inclusion and growth and the capital markets advantage for MSMEs. In the first segment, Chinmay Dhoble, Head Retail Liabilities and Branch Banking, IDFC FIRST Bank, will present a keynote on smart, tailored financial tools that can help businesses thrive. In the second segment, Mr. Ashishkumar Chauhan, MD and CEO NSE, tells us how MSMEs can boost credibility, expand reach and create long-term value by tapping into markets.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here amidst all the dignitaries and entrepreneurs who are present here. My heartfelt compliments to the ET Now team who have built, sustained and grown this property over a period of 12 years. Leaders of Tomorrow, which has an apt tagline, which is powering entrepreneurs to the global stage, I think is a platform which is now a very well established property where entrepreneurs come, they share their ideas, they present the businesses that they have built. And out of these ideas, the best of the best are selected, and some of them, I think, are here. MSMEs are a significant contributor in the GDP, but beyond that, they are a very large contributor in employment generation. While in a way, it's a good thing that MSMEs contribute so much to the employment, it also is a kind of a reflection on the productivity and the efficiency of these entities. Because if you see, large corporates typically have a contribution beyond 60–70%, but their share of employment is much lower, which effectively means that in terms of productivity and efficiency, they are significantly 1 or 2 notches above the MSMEs. And I am sure every entity wants to go up the value chain. So while we have 6.7 crore MSMEs in India, you will see most of the concentration is towards the micro entities. And over a period of time, I am sure it's an aspiration of every entrepreneur, of every somebody who runs a micro entity to become a small to medium, and medium to large. And we believe, and the general theme of what I'm trying to present today, is that the biggest unlock in this journey is going to be productivity enhancement and the efficiency buildup which comes along with that. While all this is there, I think there are significant tailwinds which are there for the Indian economy. And while I'm sure a lot of speakers will speak about the opportunities that are there in sector, I think one theme which in a way encapsulates these tailwinds is the Atmanirbhar Bharat program of Government of India. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, I mean, colloquially, if you say it's self-reliance, it's not only the old-time self-reliance and reduction of imports, etc. It is largely focused on self-reliance, being efficient, being competitive, being resilient, and growing. So something which is very close to the theme of this property or the theme of these awards, which is empowering towards global competitiveness. What do we do at IDFC FIRST Bank, and how are we a part of this journey? So as a bank, as a philosophy, we really respect the MSME sector. And it's not, of course, it's a large sector, it's an important sector, but traditionally we have been lending significantly in this sector across the segments, right? From joint liability groups to wholesale banking. And this segment has been a great paymaster for the bank. We have always had very good servicing from this sector, so this is a focus area which will continue. About the bank, we are a universal bank. We are built on the pillars of digital, social, and ethical. We really try to keep our customer first in every interaction that we do. And as an example of that, we are the only bank which today doesn't charge any fees on any of our savings bank account services. Similarly, we have more than 40 current account services which are free of charge. We are the first bank who introduced monthly interest credit on savings bank accounts. There are a lot of these things that we do regularly, and th this is a part of our, as I said, ethical banking feature. We we offer both deposit solutions as well as lending solutions. Deposit solutions are basic current account, then payment solutions, mobile applications, trade and forex solutions. Similarly, on the lending side, as I said, we offer products across the spectrum. We understand that different customers have different needs at every stage, at every life stage, and we should be there to fulfill those needs. It's not a one-size-fit-all kind of product. The approach is more customization, understanding, and as I said, with so many data points available, we are a digital-first bank. We have APIs built with most of the platform. We have our own strong analytical tools. With this kind of intelligence, we are able to segment customers better and offer the right solutions. Something again unique for our MSME customers on the deposit side, we have an auto sweep facility on your current account where money above a certain balance, we have an auto sweep which gets swept out into an FD where we pay an interest of up to 7.25%. As I said, we have zero charges on 40+ current account services, which is kind of unheard of on the current account side. We also have special programs for MSMEs and startups. Our apps are best in class. We have something very unique for startup. We have a lot of we have a lot of startup clients. A significant part of the startup industry banks with us. We have solutions both on the lending as well as on the deposit side. And here again, we try to partner with the startups across the journey. So we have a special program called First Wings, where we have a dedicated team for the startups. We offer right from financial solutions to advisory to mentoring. And this is the last thought that I have from my side, that we have to understand MSME not as a monolith, but as a segment which runs across industries and across life stages. We as financiers need to appreciate that, and we need to be in a position to offer services which are required at that point in time, not only financial, but as well as give access to services which are also advisory in nature, which helps the businesses to grow. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC FIRST Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12 Awards Edition. In this segment, Mr. Ashishkumar Chauhan, MD and CEO NSE, is in conversation with Mr. Mihir Bhatt, Managing Editor Times Network and Chief Business Officer Times Influence. Listen in.
Sir, I want to start with a very basic thing. You have been part of an ecosystem which has constantly worked on the improvement of MSME and SME sector in India, right from designing the mechanism for them to list, to actually go ahead and launch a platform where it helps an SME to raise money from capital markets. You have covered a very long journey, even on the MSME front. What are your key takeaways today in this evolutionary process where Indian markets stand when it comes to ease of raising capital for SMEs and MSMEs?
Thank you for calling me, and congratulations to all the winners. The MSMEs is a wide spectrum. When you start on your own, I think as Mr. Dhoble said, to having even 5,000 people employed, and you will still call yourself MSME. So it's a very wide spectrum. And when we grew up almost 55, 60 years back, nobody wanted to be an entrepreneur because people did not have capital. But in a way, the technology also didn't allow most people to become entrepreneurs. We had to, I mean, if you are good, you have to study and become employees or take government jobs. And I think that probably that tradition continues. People want government jobs. But overall, there's been large change in terms of how the world behaves. Slowly, the technology changed and it allowed a smaller businessmen to come up. Earlier, if you had to set up a textile mills, you had to have processing, weaving, spinning, everything together, which used to be called composite mill. And then later on came the sort of small looms, which were to be done even in your house. And that changed the game. And that's where the technology, for me, is the fundamental change that happens to the world. And I'm an engineer by training. So, and I have tried to be an entrepreneur many times and failed many times. So in some ways, I speak from experience of an SME entrepreneur who has failed many times. And it's still, in some ways, when you are an entrepreneur, earlier also you had to ask for a bank loan and they'll say, where is the collateral, which they still do. And they should, because ultimately they were responsible to take the money back. But you don't have the equity. Most of us, even today, wouldn't have equity. And that's where the markets can help.
Right. Sir, we keep referring to this term ease of doing business. And I want to extend this term when it comes to capital markets. And maybe you can actually throw some light in terms of ease of listing. And Chinmay also referred to the whole mechanism of due diligence. And obviously it should be there. But do you think there is a scope to improve that part and maybe make it a little more easier, looking at the concentration of the low value MSMEs in the overall ecosystem?
The overall, I think there are 6.5, 7 crore total MSMEs, but most of them are not even micro. It's like below micro, one man or two man shops. The ones which are slightly larger, they are in the range of 70,000 to 1 lakh. We have now, between two exchanges, around 1,100 companies listed on the SME platform. Some of them have, I think 20% have gone to the main board, but 800 are still remaining in the small boards, which basically they have listed recently. And so, in some ways, anyone wanting to list today, compared to say what was there 20 years back, today it's very easy to list. But you need to comply because you are taking money from people who are unknown to you.
While obviously, I mean, one can look at it as a great opportunity because in terms of employment, the MSME sector plays a very vital role, employing more than 60%, I mean, generating more than 60% employment in the country. If you look at the value addition or the productivity, we are still somewhere at the bottom. If you look at the global parameters, is it an opportunity to tap, or is it a sort of a deadlock or a serious problem to increase productivity in this sector?
See, for me, the productivity sometimes happens out of scale and sometimes happens out of the individual initiatives. So scale brings its own level of productivity because of the machines and things like that, right? And the individual initiatives bring the new level of productivity by creating more sort of varieties, newer ways of doing things. And today, the place where we are in technology, whether it is in AI, 3D printing, robotics, or many other areas, biosciences, and things like that, you will see that everyone will be able to do same thing very easily. How do you get that extra zing into that? And that's why, for me, in fact, many people think today, I think somebody said, probably Shamat or somebody, saying, it's time where single person enterprise now will be $1 billion. Why? Is because the productivity tools available today, which are currently being developed or are in the market, which we have not yet tested, none of us, can actually increase your productivity many times, which would not be true with a larger organization, right? So it's actually the smaller players are going to be very beneficiary of the newer trends that are coming up. They require less capital, a lot of brains, a lot of hard work, which is there. While as the scale part, which used to be there in 1930s and 1940s and even 1990s was about scale. Today is about enterprise, right? And for me, Indians have too much enterprise, very little capital, and a lot of brains, right? And that's where I think we are in the right place, right time. Think of becoming, each of you can become $1 billion enterprise yourself, right? If you collect 50 people, probably it might be even more. And today, you can service the world. See, most of us have been very inward-looking because of the way we evolved post-independence specifically. We have become very closeted. But today, you need to service the world, and world is going from what I call unipolar. Most of our lives who are below 60 have seen one single world power called US. The bipolar world or duopolar world got over in 1988 after the Berlin Wall fell. And then since last so many years, it's basically about the unipolar world. Now suddenly, US is receding. The rich country is thinking that they have become poor. And so they are trying to move away. And that's where there are going to be multipolar world. And nobody has seen that. At the same time, technology is becoming so fast and so fast changing that individuals with exposure and ideas can do much more than what could have been done in, say, 88 or 95. And that's where, for me, today, India is going to be one of the polars or polarities going forward. And we are in the right place, right time. It's our youngsters. We've also got some exposure to the world. When we joined the business in early 90s, we were still basically non-liberalized world. Everything had to be licensed. Today, of course, you can still see a lot of controls and a lot of other things, but still it's much better. And you can actually service the entire world. Don't think of servicing only India. And in a multipolar world, for me, broadly speaking, the way US is doing, WTO, World Trade Organization, is gone. UN is gone. WHO is gone. Whatever you think of, all the rules are gone. And that's where basically the big boys will play, but the small boys also will have ability to maneuver and make their money.
That's a headline you have given. And in fact, that was my next question actually, because you mentioned US. While it is receding and it is moving away from, the accepted formula of globalization, what I want to focus on is the so-called tariff war, because the MSME ecosystem in India plays a very vital role in exports, right? The way US is behaving, this global tariff war, what kind of impact do you see it having on Indian MSME sector, especially those who are driven by exports?
India, 30 years back, 35 years back, when it was joining WTO, other places, it did not have the strength. And US wanted to wean away China from Russia. That's why they sent Kissinger through Pakistan into China and stuff like that. And that's how they mollycoddled China for last 40 years. And now they have found the result that they have created a monster. And so it's going to be basically the end of all the, what I call the rules of the game, the WTO and rule-based. There are no rules. It's just that whatever the large guys say becomes rule at that moment, and those large guys actually work together. Now, large guys are actually opposing each other, right? And that's where India is now one of the large guys. And that's where probably you will have much better relationship with the US. Even Europe is now quoting us. You've seen that over the last few weeks. Probably the Japan, Australia, even some portion of East Asia. You're going to see a situation where each party is going to deal with other party on a one-to-one basis rather than on the multipolar WTO kind of situation basis.
Right. So are you somewhere saying our theme also for this year's awards is that how the MSMEs can be powered to global stage? Are you saying that it is technology, entrepreneurship, and skill which is going to power Indian entrepreneurs to global stage in a sort of constantly changing scenario?
Absolutely. And also, in addition to that, exposure to the world and the network. This too, where we were lacking completely in 91. We were so inward looking that around the world in $8 was the theme, right? Today, many youngsters have gone abroad, they've come back, their parents have gone abroad, come back. They know how the world behaves, what are the cultural issues. And my own language, when I went first time in 93 to UK and US, I was speaking English, but they kept on telling me that speak in English. Probably it was racism, but also to some extent to give them credit, they had never heard a person like me before, speaking English in my own accent. And so, in a way, now they've started hearing people like us every day, right, because of the call centers and all. But effectively, that's where I think our network, our exposure to the world has become much stronger, and that's going to keep us in good state going forward.
Right. You mentioned about, the old institutions like WTO, WHO sort of coming down from its previous form. Are you somewhere hinting that because of the multipolarity, countries with common interest or convenience of business will end up forming such smaller groups rather than having one global umbrella organization like WTO? Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely. They've already did it. I mean, they've done it before. Like European Union was a project. Then the US, Mexico, Canada was a project. And even China did the ASEAN, and then now they were trying to do some BRICS and whatever, road and something like that.
Belt and Road, yeah.
Right? So that's how I see that it has always happened over and above as a layer to WTO. But WTO had a power because two large players, actually one large player was beneficent enough, that is the US, was allowing all these things to go despite being attacked. Today, it's like the king whose money has gone, and he was still being very charitable for long. And now he's feeling that my clothes are going, and I need to save my clothes, right?
Right. Candid as ever. Thank you so much, Ashish sir, for joining us here. I know you have a flight to catch, but please give him a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihir. Thank you, Mr. Chauhan. May I request you to please stay on for just a short while longer? I'd also like to invite up on stage the COO of News Broadcast Business of Times Network, Mr. Varun Kohli, to please join Mr. Chauhan and Mihir up on stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chauhan has played a pivotal role in launching numerous platforms, opening crucial funding avenues for small and medium enterprises and enabling them to access capital markets. Under his leadership, both BSE and NSE have championed financial inclusion, deepened market participation, and strengthened India's position as a global financial hub. For his contribution to the markets and small business empowerment, we'd like to present the much-deserved special recognition in outstanding leadership in SME growth and financial markets to Mr. Ashishkumar Chauhan. Let's keep that applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mihir. Thank you, Varun, for that.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC FIRST Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.